Kill laziness now. Tomorrow is already too late. We often tell ourselves, I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll wake up early. Tomorrow I'll eat better. Tomorrow I'll work harder. Tomorrow I'll chase my dreams. But do you realize that tomorrow is the favorite hiding place of laziness? And the truth is, tomorrow never really arrives. Because when it does, it disguises itself again as another tomorrow. Laziness is not the same as rest. Rest heals your body. Rest gives you strength. But laziness drains you of both time and purpose. Rest is intentional. Laziness is avoidance. When you choose laziness, you're not choosing comfort. You're choosing to pause your life. And life does not wait. The biggest accomplice of laziness is excuses. We tell ourselves stories to make laziness look innocent. I'm too tired. I don't have resources. I don't know enough. I'll try when the time is right. But excuses don't protect us. They rob us. They give us a false sense of safety while the world moves on without us. Remember this. You don't need a giant leap to change your life. You need a single step, and you need to take it today. A small page written today is worth more than a novel you dream of writing someday. 10 minutes of effort today is worth more than hours of planning tomorrow. Consistency, not perfection, builds empires. Opportunities are fragile. They knock quietly, and if you don't open the door, they leave. Laziness doesn't just waste your time. It steals your chances. Sometimes it doesn't matter how talented you are. Because if you arrive too late, someone less talented but more disciplined has already claimed the space you were meant for. And that is why discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. Discipline teaches you to act even when you don't feel like it. Motivation is fleeting, but discipline builds the bridge between your dreams and your reality. If you wait to feel ready, you'll wait forever. If you act with discipline, you'll get ready along the way. One day, your future self will look back at this moment, and it will either thank you for fighting your laziness today, or it will resent you for surrendering to it. Every lazy choice you make today is a regret you'll carry tomorrow. And every courageous step you take today, no matter how small, is an investment in the life you deserve. So kill laziness now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. Kill it now, because tomorrow is already too late. Laziness and rest often wear the same mask, but they are not the same. Rest is a gift. It is the pause our body and soul need to recharge and return stronger. Laziness, on the other hand, is a thief. It sneaks into our lives, disguised as comfort, whispering that we deserve to do nothing, convincing us that we can always start later. Rest restores, laziness paralyzes, and when we fail to recognize the difference, we fall into the trap of believing that our inaction is somehow harmless, when in reality it is silently stealing away our potential. There are moments when we truly need to stop, breathe, and recover. That is rest. But laziness is not about recovery. It is about resistance. It is not the body saying, I am tired. It is the mind saying, I am unwilling. That unwillingness slowly seeps into every corner of our lives. It tells us not to start, not to try, not to push. And while we surrender to it, time keeps moving forward. The opportunities that were waiting for us, the growth that was meant for us, the change that could have been ours, all of it passes by, quietly, without making noise. We must understand this truth. Life is in motion, whether we participate or not. The world will not pause for us to gather our strength again and again. While we give in to laziness, time has no mercy on those who waste it. And what hurts the most is not just losing opportunities, but losing ourselves in the process. Because the more we allow laziness to control us, the more powerless we begin to feel. It is like a slow poison. The first time we avoid doing what we must, we feel a little guilty. The second time, it becomes easier. And before we know it, not doing becomes our habit, and laziness becomes our lifestyle. But when you choose rest with intention, it fuels you. Rest has purpose. It prepares you to stand up and face life with clarity and strength. Laziness, however, never prepares you. It weakens you. It tells you that lying down is easier than standing up, that postponing is safer than starting, that dreaming is better than doing. And the tragedy is, many of us believe these lies until one day we wake up and realize that so much time has slipped away. We realize that dreams left untouched do not wait for us. They die within us. So the real challenge is not simply working hard, but learning to recognize the thin line between rest and laziness. Ask yourself, am I pausing because I need strength? Or am I pausing because I am afraid? Rest ends with renewed energy. Laziness ends with more regret. Rest gives you back time by making you more productive. Laziness steals time and leaves you with nothing to show. And when you see the difference clearly, you will stop treating laziness as something small or innocent. Think of it this way. Every time you choose laziness, you are pressing pause on your own life while the world continues to play. You are watching yourself fall behind, not because you are incapable, but because you chose not to move. That is why killing laziness is not about becoming harsh with yourself, but about protecting your future from the damage of inaction. You must learn to rest when needed, but never allow laziness to define your days. Because once it does, tomorrow becomes an endless excuse, and today becomes a wasted chance. The time you waste in laziness can never be recovered. But the time you spend in rest, used wisely, will multiply into greater strength, sharper focus, and more courage to chase your goals. Life is not asking you to be restless, it is asking you to be awake. And there is a difference between a body at peace and a soul that has surrendered. Do not confuse the two. If you must pause, let it be to prepare. If you must stop, let it be to rise stronger. But never stop simply because laziness tells you to. Because the moment you do, you allow your dreams to slip further out of reach. The choice is always yours. To use today as a stepping stone, or to waste it in the illusion of tomorrow. Rest with purpose, but never allow laziness to paralyze you. Kill it before it kills your future. Excuses and laziness walk hand in hand. And together they create the most dangerous prison. One without walls. One that keeps you trapped inside your own comfort zone. We all know this voice that whispers gently, almost convincingly. You can start tomorrow. Today you're tired. Today isn't the right time. You don't have the tools, the knowledge, the support. These excuses come dressed in logic. But in reality, they are the most polished lies that laziness tells us to keep us still. They sound like protection, but they are chains. They feel like compassion, but they are sabotage. The tragedy of excuses is that they feel safe. When you say, "I'll do it tomorrow," you believe you are giving yourself relief. You believe you are being kind to yourself. But what you're really doing is betraying your own potential. Tomorrow becomes the safe box where we lock away every dream, every decision, every chance to grow. But when we go back to open that box, we find it empty. Because tomorrow has transformed again into another tomorrow. Excuses don't postpone our life, they erase it slowly. Think of how many times you've had a beautiful idea, a deep desire, a goal that made your heart beat faster. For a moment, you felt alive thinking about it. But then laziness crept in and handed you a ready-made excuse. Not now. You'll start later. That idea remained only an idea. That desire remained only a desire. And you were left with nothing but regret. Regret is the shadow that excuses always leave behind. It is easy to see excuses as harmless, but they are the roots of wasted lives. Some people spend years saying, "When things settle down, I will chase my dreams." But things rarely settle down. Life will always have its noise, its chaos, its uncertainties. If you wait for perfect timing, you will wait until your time runs out. And when you look back, you will not remember the comfort your excuses gave you. You will only remember the opportunities you lost because of them. Excuses do not only delay our goals, they damage our spirit. Every time we use one, we teach ourselves to be weaker. We tell ourselves we are not capable enough to push through discomfort. And the more we practice this, the more natural it becomes. Laziness turns into habit, and excuses turn into our language. But language has power. The words you repeat to yourself become the truth you live by. If you keep saying, "I can't, not now, maybe later," then soon your whole life will echo those words. To kill laziness, we must first silence excuses. And that requires brutal honesty with ourselves. We must learn to catch that voice the moment it whispers and ask, is this a real reason or just a comfortable excuse? Most times, if we are honest, we will realize it's only comfort disguised as logic. True reasons demand solutions. Excuses demand nothing but surrender. That is how you know the difference. And here lies the painful beauty of life. It rewards the ones who act, not the ones who wait. No one ever built a future on someday. No one ever reached their potential with maybe later. It is always the person who stands up, even when tired, even when afraid, who receives the gift of growth. Tomorrow is too late because tomorrow is not promised. The only promise you have is this moment, this day, this chance to stop making excuses and start moving forward. So though next time laziness tells you to wait until tomorrow, remind yourself that tomorrow is not guaranteed. Your strength, your opportunities, your dreams, They belong to today. And the only way to honor them is to act now, without excuses, without delay. Because every excuse you kill today is a future regret you save yourself from tomorrow. We often believe that change demands something massive, something extraordinary, something so grand that it shakes the earth beneath us. And because of this belief, we keep waiting for the big moment to begin. We tell ourselves that once we are fully ready, once conditions are perfect, once inspiration strikes hard enough, we will finally start. But the truth is, life does not transform through one giant leap. It transforms through small, consistent steps taken daily. Laziness thrives on the illusion that you must wait for the right time to act. Discipline thrives on the truth that even the smallest action today carries the power to shape your tomorrow. A single seed is small, almost invisible compared to the tree it will become. Yet, without planting that tiny seed, the tree will never exist. The same is true with your dreams. A page written today may look insignificant compared to the book you imagine, but without it, the book will never exist. 10 minutes of exercise today might feel like nothing compared to the body you desire, but without it, the body will never exist. Big achievements are not born from big actions. They are born from small actions repeated with persistence. The problem is that laziness convinces us to delay even the small steps. It whispers, "What difference will one day make? Missing today is harmless." But one day becomes two, two becomes weeks, and weeks become months. And suddenly, we look back and realize that we have lost years not because we lacked the ability, but because we underestimated the power of beginning small and beginning now. Consistency does not require perfection. It does not ask you to do everything at once. It asks only for your commitment, your willingness to show up even when you don't feel like it. The truth is, a small imperfect step taken today will take you further than the perfect step you never take. And once you understand this, you free yourself from the trap of waiting for perfect conditions. Opportunities rarely appear fully polished. They appear in fragments, in moments, in daily chances to prove to yourself that you can act. But laziness will always tell you to ignore them because they look too small. It will convince you that a tiny effort cannot possibly matter. Yet history proves otherwise. Every masterpiece, every invention, every life transformed was built on the foundation of daily effort, not sudden miracles. When you embrace small, consistent actions, something beautiful happens. You begin to build momentum. Momentum is powerful because once you start moving, even a little, movement becomes easier. You no longer have to push yourself as hard to begin because the rhythm carries you forward. Laziness hates momentum because it thrives only in stillness. Once you start moving, laziness loses its grip on you. So the choice before you is simple: wait for the perfect day that may never come, or begin with the imperfect step you can take now. Write one line, make one call, walk 1 mile, learn one new thing. Do it again tomorrow and again the day after. These small efforts may look ordinary in the moment, but over time, they will accumulate into extraordinary results. Your dreams are not asking for a giant leap. They are asking for loyalty. They are asking you to show up today, even if only in a small way. And if you honor them with consistency, you will look back one day and realize that those small steps carried you to a place that once felt impossible. But if you let laziness win by delaying the beginning, tomorrow will arrive and find you still standing at the starting line. So, never underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. They are the quiet soldiers that defeat laziness, the invisible bricks that build your future, the daily choices that turn your dreams into reality. And they must begin today, because waiting for tomorrow only gives laziness more power than it deserves. Laziness has a way of stealing opportunities without making a sound. It doesn't announce its arrival. It doesn't create chaos. It simply convinces you to delay. And in that delay, the doors of possibility quietly close. Many of us miss life, changing chances, not because we were unworthy, not because we lacked ability, but simply because we were too late. Opportunity is not loud, it is subtle, fleeting, and often disguised as hard work. Laziness blinds us to it. And by the time we gather the strength to act, the moment has already passed. Think of how many times you had the chance to step forward, but you told yourself, "I'll do it tomorrow." That job application you delayed, the call you meant to return, the skill you intended to learn, the project you planned to start. While you postponed, someone else who was not necessarily more talented, but more disciplined, seized the same opportunity. Life rewards the ones who act, not the ones who wait. Laziness fools us into believing opportunities are permanent, when in reality, they are fragile and temporary. What makes laziness so dangerous is that it feels harmless in the moment. You tell yourself, "I'll get to it later," and later feels safe, as though nothing has been lost. But opportunity does not stand still while you rest in that illusion. The world moves forward, and it will not wait for you to catch up. When you finally decide to act, you may find that the stage is already occupied, the chance already gone, the window already closed. It is not lack of talent that ruins most dreams. It is hesitation. Laziness feeds hesitation until it becomes second nature. The longer you hesitate, the easier it becomes to let opportunities slip. And over time, these missed chances build up like silent regrets. You may not notice them in the beginning, but one day, you will look back and realize that what you lost was not just time. It was moments that could have changed your entire story. Opportunity does not knock forever. Sometimes it knocks softly, and if you don't answer, it moves on to someone who will. This is why killing laziness is not just about productivity. It is about awareness. You must stay awake to recognize the doors being opened for you. Too often, laziness convinces us that the door will still be there tomorrow. But tomorrow, that door may belong to someone else. And the bitter truth is this: the world does not always reward the best. It rewards the consistent. It rewards the one who shows up, even if imperfectly. Talent and dreams mean little without action. The person who fights their laziness and acts with discipline will always be ahead of the one who keeps waiting for a perfect tomorrow. Opportunity is not about being the most gifted. It is about being present when the moment arrives. Every time you choose laziness, you risk losing something you may never get back. Every time you delay, you gamble with a door that may never open again. And though laziness feels comfortable in the moment, it leaves behind the heavy weight of regret. Regret is far more painful than effort, because effort costs you energy, but regret costs you peace. So protect your future by refusing to surrender to laziness. When the moment presents itself, act. Do not wait for the right mood, the right time, or the right conditions. Laziness will always find reasons to delay, but life will not pause to accommodate your hesitation. You must learn to move even when it feels uncomfortable, even when it feels inconvenient, because what you do today decides what opportunities you keep and what you leave behind forever. In the end, laziness doesn't just waste your hours, it steals your chances, your growth, your progress. And once those chances are gone, they rarely return. Kill laziness before it robs you again. Because opportunities do not vanish into thin air. They simply pass into the hands of those who dared to act while you were waiting. Self-discipline is the strongest antidote to laziness, and yet it is often the one thing we resist the most. We wait for motivation. We wait for inspiration. We wait for a spark to ignite us into action. But motivation is like a guest. It visits for a while and then leaves. If you depend only on it, you will always find yourself waiting for its return. Discipline, however, is not a visitor. It is a companion you build, a force you cultivate, and it stays with you even on the days when you feel least inspired. Laziness cannot survive in the presence of discipline because discipline teaches you to act not when you feel like it, but because you must. The greatest misconception we carry is that discipline is punishment. We think of it as something harsh, something that limits our freedom. In reality, it is the opposite. Discipline gives you freedom, freedom from regret, freedom from missed opportunities, freedom from the guilt of wasted time. Laziness binds you to comfort that rots your potential, while discipline sets you free to reach the life you dream of. Freedom is not doing what you want whenever you want. Freedom is having the strength to do what you must, so you can eventually live the life you desire. Consider this. When you let laziness control you, you live according to your moods. If you feel tired, you stop. If you feel afraid, you hesitate. If you feel distracted, you quit. But moods are fragile. They change with the smallest things. If you rely on them, your life will always be unstable. Discipline is what grounds you. It says, regardless of how I feel, I will show up. Regardless of my mood, I will do what needs to be done. That consistency is what builds resilience. And resilience is what builds success. Every great achievement you admire, every person you look up to, every success story you celebrate is not the result of endless motivation, but endless discipline. Behind every masterpiece, every business, every transformation lies a series of daily actions repeated with discipline. Laziness might give you temporary comfort, but only discipline can give you lasting results. The battle against laziness is fought in the smallest of moments. When the alarm rings in the morning, when the task feels boring, when distractions seem more inviting than effort. In these moments, motivation will often fail you. Because motivation looks for excitement. But discipline whispers, do it anyway. It tells you to rise, to keep going, to stay committed, because discipline knows the secret that laziness hides. The hardest part is starting, but once you begin, strength follows. Discipline is not built overnight. It is shaped like a muscle through repetition. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. Every time you choose action over laziness, you strengthen your discipline. Every time you push past excuses, you train your mind to obey your purpose, not your comfort. And slowly, laziness loses its hold over you. Because you no longer depend on fleeting feelings. You depend on the unshakable power of discipline. And here is the truth you must carry with you. Discipline hurts in the moment, but laziness hurts forever. Discipline requires sacrifice, but laziness demands your dreams. Discipline may make you uncomfortable today, but it ensures your comfort tomorrow. Laziness makes you comfortable today, but it ensures your regret tomorrow. Which pain will you choose? The temporary pain of discipline or the lifelong pain of regret? The life you want, the future you envision, the opportunities you long for. They are not waiting for motivation. They are waiting for your discipline. Every day that you act with discipline, you step closer to them. Every day that you surrender to laziness, you step further away. And one day, you will either thank yourself for the discipline you built or mourn the dreams that laziness destroyed. So stop waiting for motivation to appear. Build discipline instead. It will carry you through the dark days, the heavy days, the uninspired days. It will keep you moving when laziness whispers to stop. And when you finally stand in the light of your achievements, you will realize that discipline was never your enemy. It was your greatest ally. The bridge that carried you from where you were to where you always wanted to be. Every choice we make today is shaping the person we will become tomorrow. The version of you that will exist in the future is being written right now, not by what you dream of doing, but by what you are actually doing. Laziness whispers that delaying action is harmless, that pushing things to tomorrow will make no difference. But the truth is, every time you surrender to laziness, you are handing your future self a burden of regret, of missed chances, of wasted potential. Tomorrow is not some distant stranger. Tomorrow is you. And what you do today is the gift or the curse you leave for yourself. When you choose action, discipline, and effort today, your future self will look back with gratitude. That version of you will thank you for the courage to wake up earlier, for the strength to start when it was hard, for the persistence to continue when it was boring or painful. But when you choose laziness, your future self will look back with anger and sadness. That version of you will ask, why didn't you try harder? Why did you waste so much time when you had the chance? Why did you give in to laziness when my life depended on your actions? We often think of laziness as something that only affects the present moment, but it ripples forward. Every time you skip effort today, you create distance between yourself and the life you desire. Those skipped days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. And the saddest truth is that one day you may finally wake up ready to change. But time may not wait for you. Some chances will already be gone, some doors permanently closed, some seasons of life never to return. Laziness doesn't just steal time, it steals futures. But here is the beauty: just as laziness compounds regret, discipline compounds growth. The small effort you make today may seem insignificant, but repeated over time, it builds into strength, wisdom, and results. Just like a single drop of water is small, yet many drops together carve valleys and rivers. Your daily disciplined actions carve the path to your future. You don't need to do everything at once, but you must do something today, because even a small step changes the direction of tomorrow. Imagine your future self standing at a distance, watching you right now. Which version would you rather create? The one filled with pride, gratitude, and joy, or the one heavy with disappointment and regret? That choice is not made in some distant day. It is made in the ordinary hours of today. It is made in the moment. You decide whether to rise or remain still, whether to start or delay, whether to act or surrender to laziness. The truth is, every lazy choice today echoes louder tomorrow. The comfort you seek right now becomes the discomfort of regret later. But the discomfort you face now, the effort you put in when it's hard, becomes the comfort of pride later. One way or another, you will pay a price. You will either pay the price of discipline today or the price of regret tomorrow. The decision is always in your hands. So ask yourself honestly, what kind of tomorrow do you want? If you want a tomorrow filled with joy, strength, and growth, then you must kill laziness now. Because tomorrow is not a place where change magically begins. It is a place that reflects what you did today. If you waste today, tomorrow will already be too late. Choose wisely, because your future self is waiting. And one day, you will meet them. Make sure they are proud of the choices you made, not broken by the chances you lost. Kill laziness now, for the sake of the life you are yet to live.